Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hi Podcast. I'm Dad. I'm your boy, Joey Two Bananas.
And I'm Frank Deezy Fosheezy, keeping it nice and breezy in the kneesies.
You fucked up, bro. You fucked up. You didn't include the tank.
That's true. The take. All that plus the take.
The tank, keeping it easy and breezy for Sheezy.
Yeah.
You're killing me, bro. So it's been a minute since we last recorded. It's been a minute. The last time we recorded was near the beginning of the summer. It's now near the end of the summer.
It's been about a month.
Yeah, about a month and a half.
Yeah.
We had the Three Caballeros last time when I had my cousin CK Preparatory up in here.
Good guy. Real good guy.
Now we're back to the dynamic duo. Who's Batman? Who's Robin? I feel like you're Robin because you wear shorts.
I have to do Robin. I have to do the Robin. I'm like the booty shorts Robin.
Yeah,
you know, with the little booties, like the little elf Robin. Jumping Jehoshaphat's Batman.
You're from Teen Titans Go when they had like the old school Robin.
Yeah.
That's you.
Fucking Mo Robin. I'm down with that.
Bet. You ever hear the theory that was like the original Robin and like, yeah, it's a whole mess. Anyway, I never even watched Teen Titans Go. To be honest, I like the original.
Teen Titans Go is actually pretty good.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
If I wanted to watch something random, I just watched The Amazing World of Gumball.
No, okay. Teen Titans Go is very random, but if you actually sit down and watch it with your kids, it's actually a really good time.
My daughter's into Spidey and His Amazing Friends.
Yeah.
So that's her thing. Actually, if you guys go upstairs, there's a giant like cutout of Ghost Spider and Miles Morales. And then the Spider-Man one fell down behind her kitchen.
Oh, that's kind of cool though. Like she's into Spider-Man like that.
Yeah. Actually, you know, it's funny. So remember when we said that we joked around like every 5th episode we should do like a media focused episode? Here we are talking about media. But that kind of reminds me of something I kind of was thinking about earlier today. So you know that new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie is coming out, right?
I am aware.
It looks like garbage, but that might just be me being an old man. But
that is you being bitter and old and grimy.
So there's a whole bunch of like YouTube videos and stuff out talking about it to take advantage of the algorithm. And one of them was like how the first movie was a super faithful adaptation to the original comic book. I was like, oh, let me check it out. So I'm watching the video and they pointed out something I never thought about before. How the movie is basically about fatherhood. Because you got Splinter raising the turtles, and he explicitly says the reason he's raising them is so that when he's gone, they can live a peaceful life and be protected, even though they're different, right? And then you have Shredder taking in all these lost boys in the city, giving them pizza and like arcades and cigarettes and beer and like I think there was even a skating rink, like a skate park in their area.
Like kind of reeling them in.
Yeah, reeling them in, getting them almost like the Isle of what is it, Lost Toys or something like that from Pinocchio, where they all went, they were like breaking stuff and smoking and drinking.
Yeah, just giving them whatever they wanted.
Yeah. So it's almost like that. And then he then trains them to be ninjas. And it's because he's training he's taking in these sons for his own purposes. So you got one father raising them for good reasons, and then another father raising them for like evil, nefarious, cartoon villain reasons.
Yeah. No, and Master Splinter was kind of cool because he also didn't need to raise the turtles. If we're talking about comic book accurate and like original sort of like lore, he was just in the situation with the turtles. He could have dipped.
Yeah, 100%.
A fucking ninja rat could do well in New York City.
Especially nowadays.
Without having to be tied down with 4 baby turtles. Fuck that shit. If I had that option, I'd be out.
4 baby turtles that immediately turned into teenagers that liked pizza. But so like I'm watching it, I was like, man, I never thought about how like there's a big part about fatherhood in this movie. And then they showed the scene where like they're meditating after he got kidnapped, and then he comes to them in spirit form and like says, "My sons," and like tells them how proud he is of them and stuff like that. And I started tearing up. I was like, man, that's a good fatherly depiction in media. Like we ragged on him 5 episodes ago about having all these horrible dad depictions, and even the best dads are still kind of dummies.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Splinter was a mutant rat who was like the pet of a ninja or something like that, and was an awesome father. And it just got me thinking about like positive media depictions of dads and how it's usually a weird way for them to depict fathers. It's usually a weird example that they got to use to depict fathers positively.
Yeah, it's also like they got to go real like it can't be direct, right?
Yeah.
If you're trying to show a good father-kid bond in a movie or in a show or any media, it's never just outright, this is the kid, this is the father.
Yeah.
It's always like some fucking allegory or some like deep message that you have to dig down and find it.
It can't be a straight, look, here's a good father. Or if it is, it has to be ridiculous, like the dad from Seventh Heaven.
Right.
Or Bandit Healer, who like apparently just doesn't have a job.
He has a job. He just doesn't give a shit about it. Though, guess what?
What?
Just Ass number 2 right now.
Is that okay? I thought I heard you guys mentioning Bandit Healer. What were you guys talking about?
So, just terrible idea. Anyway, what happened was normally I come over to Mr. Two Bananas spot. We do our recording here. He's got a nice setup, as you can probably see. Now we just upgraded to the visual
Let
style.
me upgrade you.
Now you can gaze upon this beautiful visage of mine. Is it visage? Visage?
Visage.
Visage? No. Visage.
Now you got me questioning.
You're the vocab guy, bro. I'm relying on you for this.
My sciatica's bothering me. Okay, I can't think.
So my whole family's here, and I feel bad for both of our hot wives because they got to deal with all those damn kids, and that kind of sucks. But anyway,
takes 2 to tango.
Yeah, takes 2 to tango. It's not all our fault. Pointing at the camera. But Just Ask number 2, wifey, Just Ask number 2, like, hey, well, she asked number 1 first, but he was like watching something.
There was nothing on. Was he just playing with the Rubik's Cube?
No, on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was watching something on the phone, so he completely ignored it.
Awesome.
But number 2 is with Lola, and they were hanging out, and she asked number 2, hey, if you could say your dad was somebody in a cartoon or something, who would he be? And she was like, oh, probably like Bandit Healer. And I was like, yes.
I win. Bandit Healer.
I win. Bandit Healer is the guy. But he's new. That's like recent stuff.
Yeah, it's Australian. It's not even American.
Okay, so
maybe they have a different view of dads out there. They live in a wild country where like even the jellyfish and spiders are trying to kill you. Okay,
the media depictions of dad are upside down, so they're good. Is that what it is?
I was gonna actually say something like to add to this, but you just threw me off.
Sorry.
I was gonna say actually, Australia gave us one of our best depictions of a dad, and it wasn't even fictional. Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then apparently like his son is actually great, and his daughter's like a great mom and stuff like that. They show the whole family.
His kids are doing good.
Like, dang.
And he
from beyond the grave raised him right.
Yeah, I know. And he's not even around anymore.
But got to give credit to the wife too.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got to be in there somewhere.
Oh yeah. Well, his son looks just like him. Like legitimately just like him. But yeah, so like it just got me thinking, all this stuff got me thinking about like, positive depictions of dads in media. But then I was like, we already talked about that. But it also made me think about the fact that media can positively affect our relationships too.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to how I was saying like Lola watches Spider-Man now. And that started because she was watching me play the Spider-Man game on PlayStation. She's like, oh, Daddy, who's that? And I'm like, that's Spider-Man. Oh, I like Spider-Man. He's swinging. And then she wanted to watch the baby Spider-Man show, she calls it, and all that stuff. And it just got me thinking about all the different ways like you can use media to connect and form lasting bonds with your kids, right? Like I know I definitely have memories of playing games with my dad or watching shows with my dad and stuff like that. You probably got memories like that too.
So,
With your stepdad maybe, or
so here's a spot where we kind of differ again.
bum.
I was really trying hard to think about positive media and things that I've had with my dads. And I'm coming up short.
Not even like watching a
legitimately
football game with your stepdad?
So, yeah,
Because that's still media.
that is still media. There are times, and I played football, but I've never been really a big sports guy. Like, I won't sit there and I'll watch.
Yeah, neither
game.
of us are actually.
Yeah, I'm not really huge into watching sports. I love playing sports. Don't get me wrong. I was on the football team. I did all that stuff. I even played the same position as my stepdad.
Yeah, you mentioned that
Yeah,
in a few episodes back. Yeah.
Yeah, we practiced. We that's how we bonded. He taught me how to play, and he taught me how to play basketball. Everything is there,
Yeah.
but when it comes to like the media portion of it,
Nothing, but like media isn't just TV and stuff like that. Video games, books,
you know what
TV.
though?
Nothing.
I do have to take that back. I do have to
Okay.
take that back because, and thank you for bringing it up, because
Boom.
my stepdad was the guy who introduced me to video games in a sense.
Really? I thought it was your mom.
My mom did, right? Nintendo was in the house, right? We had a Super Nintendo, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when he came into the picture, what happened is he moved in. I was probably like 8 or 9. And he brought with him a PlayStation that he never used.
8 or 9. That would have been an original PlayStation.
Yeah, original PlayStation 1.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Boom. Life changed from then, right?
Yeah.
He brought with him Need for Speed Hot Pursuit.
Ooh, that was a good one.
And that was the only game on the PlayStation. But I was on that. When my grandfather was not watching Sábado Gigante, I was on that. I was on that fucking TV playing Need for Speed Hot Pursuit all day.
Sheesh.
And then eventually, I got into Crash Bandicoot and all the other PlayStation games. And like it spiraled from there.
All those stuff. Yeah.
And what he used to do is he never really sat there and we never really like bonded while playing games, right?
Yeah.
But he knew that getting us random Blockbuster games, like he would go rent a movie,
Yo, yeah.
and then he would rent us a game.
Or he'd let you go down the aisle and pick a game while he's renting the movie.
Well, I never really went with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but he would just go randomly pick something out
Nice.
and be like, "Oh, here." He's got that southern drawl.
Yo, you sounded just like him just now.
"Oh, here, I got you this. Go ahead and give this a shot." And I would play it, and it would be anything because he didn't know anything about games.
Yeah, he could pick you like a sports game or like a JRPG the next time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of developed my taste in games. Was
That's
because
awesome.
I got pretty much a taste of everything because he didn't know what the fuck he was picking.
But see, even though that's not really bonding, it builds a relationship.
It does.
Yeah,
It does.
Like my dad never really my biological dad never really played video games with me. But he did buy us video game systems, so he bought me actually they bought me a Sega way back when. But then when they got the PlayStation, that's when he really got involved. He bought the PlayStation because he was still youngish and thought he would play it. He was like, "Oh, it's cool." And one of the first games he got, I remember, was like Madden 95 or something like that.
Oh yeah, I remember those old Madden games.
And we couldn't figure it out. I don't know if you remember, those old school football games were hard to figure out.
They were real hard.
So we were both sitting there trying to figure it out, and we couldn't. And so like that was just the game we bought, and every now and then he would put it on, and we'd both grab the controller and just be like, "I don't know what we're doing. Can't figure it out."
Wow.
Then we turn it off and put a basketball game on. But
And you know what though, I am kind of doing my stepdad a little bit of a disservice too, because we have played Madden games in the past.
really,
And he's always gotten them, but he's always been so bad at them, bro. This guy is so trash. And like,
to be fair, like nowadays, if you're not a 9-year-old kid, you're trash at Madden.
yeah, but like, he knows the game, right? He knows
Yeah.
football, right? He was one of those guys that was yelling off at the side of the bleachers at the coach saying that the coach doesn't know shit.
put my kid in. You don't know what's going on.
No, I was in the game.
Oh,
I was good.
allegedly.
I was good for a defensive tackle. But anyway, he knew the game. He just didn't know how to play it on the system.
Yeah.
You know, so he'd look at the plays and be like, I want to do that, and then press the wrong button, and then press the wrong button, and then press the wrong button.
That's right, because you used to have to like press one button to like bring up the plays and like select like
and
triangle, square. So, yeah.
And then you'd have to press the button to, you know, throw it to the specific runner or the wide receiver, whatever. So he was just terrible at playing the game. And we kind of made a little bit of a Thanksgiving tradition out of playing some Madden instead of going outside and playing football, because he wasn't up for it.
I can see that.
And I'm so much older than my siblings that like they can't really play football with me
you
either.
would have trucked them.
Yes.
Little peanut head would have been out there. Yeah. You were like, boom,
boom, boom, bitch.
What, son?
But now we're all like the same size, and it's not happening.
They might truck you now. We getting old, bro.
Nah, I'm still.
Dude, we were just talking about how the fact that we're at that age where you stub a toe and that's it. Your toe hurts for the rest of your life.
That's you, bro. That's you.
He was a liar.
That's you. Your wife.
He's a liar.
Your wife is giving me access to all those beach body workouts, and they are doing wonders for me.
You know, she sat there. She was like, I don't know who's watching yoga on the Beachbody account, but it keeps recommending it for me, and I'm just trying to do aerobics. I'm like, ain't me. I just do push-ups and sit-ups.
I do that too, but you know, the yoga in the morning really does help.
Nah, bro, I sleep. I just do like 2 pull-ups when I walk into my office, and then I get to work.
Watch. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. You see me now. I'm pretty big. I'm pretty beefy. That's gonna change. This is gonna be all muscle.
Beefo Brady's.
I'm gonna be Beefo Brady's. I'm gonna keep at it. This is gonna be a real life recording of what's gonna happen.
Bet. All right. I don't even know how we got on this tangent, but no, man. I mean, I just think it's interesting how like media can form these relationships, and not only be positive in the effect of it gives you a good role model, right? But it forms, it's a way to create bonding, even if it's not because you're playing together. Like, for example, I used to be a chicken when I was a kid, and my dad bought Resident Evil. He bought the director's cut of Resident Evil when it came out on PlayStation.
Yo.
And I wouldn't play it. I was afraid of it. That game was terrifying back in the day.
Oh.
That first zombie, when you come around and then, like it's this janky like cut scene where he's just like chomping on something, then he turns around, it's like a dead mannequin face. Yo. And I was like, oh shit. Yo. But so like he was like, all right, Joey, this is what we can do. I'll play the game. You tell me where to go. So that was like our tradition. Like after everybody went to bed, he'd be like, all right, we can play for 2 hours or an hour and a half or whatever. So he'd play the game, and I'd be like, oh, no, you've been there already, Dad, because he couldn't remember the puzzles or nothing like that. He's a barbarian. He's a barbarian.
He's a goddamn barbarian. There's no way.
So I would be like, no, you already got the chess piece key. Now you need to get the sewer key or whatever.
That's cool,
I'd lead him around, and then he bought Resident Evil 2 for the same thing, but then we bought the player's guide, so I would read the guide for him, and then like he'd be staring at me, and I'd be staring at the book, and then like a dog would like jump through the window, and we'd both jump. But like it's cool because it's a memory. Like the man never plays video games like that, right? But the fact that he did that with me was like a bonding situation with us, right? He even ended up buying me Metal Gear Solid 3 because he bought it for himself and was like, I thought it was cool. We used to play this when you were a kid, Joey. I was like, yeah. He was like, but I can't figure it out. There's all these buttons because 3 was the one that was like full 3D and you wander around on the battlefield or whatever. Yeah. I can't figure it out. Here, you take it. You enjoy it. We used to have fun with this. And I was like, thanks, bro.
Right, yeah.
Like, but like now as a dad thinking back on it, I was like, he got that because his son isn't in his life as much anymore. And it's almost like, I remember we used to play this together.
Him.
Yeah. So like that kind of hits me now as a father being like, damn. Like he was trying to relive that even though I wasn't around. Couldn't figure it out and was like, well, the next best thing is to give it to my son.
Give it to my son.
So it's just it's interesting how media can like bond you like that.
Yeah, you know, and my Resident Evil story is very similar to yours too, except I gave up on it. Yo, seriously, same thing. Stepdad came. He was like, "Oh, go ahead and give this a try." I was like, all right, fine, sure, I'll give it a shot. Back then, you know, you had the little 16-inch
Like the
TVs.
biggest TV you could have was like a 32-inch.
Yeah, and then like you're sitting there, and I used to play games at like close to midnight in the dark.
Yep.
You know, and I'm just taking it like any other game because, you know, he brings everything. Fuck it. Last week was Digimon Battle Adventure 2. I don't know.
And to be fair, Resident Evil doesn't sound like a scary game. Like,
it doesn't.
Games have weird names like that.
Well, but back then they didn't really have horror games like that.
I mean, they did, but like they were on computer. There wasn't anything on console like that. But even then, like Resident Evil doesn't sound to me like zombies. It sounds like games used to be stupid with their name. It would be like House of the Dead or something like that. You're like, okay, that's a zombie game, but Resident Evil, like.
Well, even like you think Ghouls and Goblins, like that's like an arcade game, whatever. So I'm putting it in. I'm going through the house, same zombie thing, right?
That first zombie,
you know. And I was like, I got up and I was like, nope. Turn that shit off. Went right to bed. I still cannot play scary games,
dude. Yeah, I
still to this day.
I got the PS5 out there, and I know I skipped the PS4 generation. So one of the games I got for free because they came with a bunch of free games was Resident Evil 7, I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you start off the game, you're walking through like a Louisiana swamp, and then you go into this house, you're looking for your wife or whatever, and there's nothing. But as soon as you walk through that first door, the camera like blacks so you can't see anything, and then the door slams behind you. I was like, nope.
Fuck all that.
Nope.
Fuck that buzz.
I was like, I'm gonna wait. So I waited the next day when wifey and her sister were here. Turned on all the lights. It was like 2 p.m, and I was like, all right, y'all sit down. I'm gonna play the game. This is gonna be a bonding experience. But yeah, man, those games were scary.
Those games really were scary. And speaking to like the whole like dad bonding while I guess consuming media, right? That's kind of a good way to think about it. Other than that, though, I don't have a whole lot of examples from my father. Like,
what about going to a movie or something like that? Like, who took you to your first rated R?
Me, when I got old enough, man.
Really?
Yeah, I do remember my dad sneaking us into the movie theaters. So my dad had a lot of kids, right? My biological dad.
Really?
Yeah. They're all named Frank in some variation.
Yep. I think we talked about this before.
Yeah. I got a sister, you know, her name's Frances. I got a brother named Frank, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so he's got a whole mess of kids.
I think your dad liked his name a little bit.
I think he did too. I mean, I did too, but, you know, like, so he has got all these kids, and I'm thinking about it now. I'm reliving this, and he must have been our age at the time, because I probably, you know what, maybe a little older.
No.
What
age are you thinking?
I'm thinking I was probably like 12, 13. So this is maybe 2-3 years.
Yeah, that would have been about right. Yeah.
So he was probably like close to 40. And I just remember this guy buying one ticket, sneaking into the side of the theater and opening the back door and bringing in like a whole squad of kids.
It's like a never-ending conga line.
Yeah. And you know, there's like 7 of us. So all of us are running in.
That's
and
crazy,
seeing
bro.
Movies, but it wasn't that often.
But really see, that's what I mean. Like, yeah, it wasn't a bonding experience, but it built relationship memories.
Yeah. Well, but I have a lot of memories, and I have a lot of relationships with media and my kids.
I was gonna say, I know it's different for you and your kids, though.
Yeah, way different. So that whole conversation we had about pushing our interests onto our kids, a little bit earlier, it kind of falls under that, but they do show an interest in it. So there's been a lot of like old games, old movies, old shows.
Well, dude, you were showing your kids anime from like when they were like 2 years old.
Right, yeah, and they're very much into specific animes. They'll watch One Piece with me. They'll watch Dragon Ball with me. They'll watch all sorts of things with me. And it's very specific to just me and them hanging out. And it's interesting because it really started off with, I mean, I make a lot of references. I make a lot of jokes and references to different
Really?
media.
You make a lot of references?
Yeah.
Who'd
Like
have thunk it?
Like a ton. And it starts with them asking, where's that from? Or what is that? What are you talking about? Oh, there's this old show that I used to watch or whatever. I mean, I call number one Lion-O from the Thundercats.
Thunder, yeah.
Because the motherfucker can't control his volume. You remember how Lion-O used to talk? I am the leader of the Thundercats. Like
I think part of that was just bad mixing
voice
in the
acting.
70s too. Yeah.
But I mean, the fucking asshole could be.
I am Lion-O, protector of the Thundaria. Yeah, I was like, what?
The fucking asshole could be ordering a bacon, egg, and cheese. Like, I would like a bacon, egg, and cheese. That's number one, bro. He'll wake up in the morning and be like, Dad, I have to take a dump. And it's like, great, go.
You know, it's funny because I can't remember what your son said when he walked to the door today, but he knocked on the door, I opened it, and I was like, hey, guys. And he said something. It wasn't even like a hi. He went into something, but he said it so high pitched. I was like, dude,
right.
Why are you yelling?
Like, oh, God, stop. Yeah. So I made that joke enough times that they were like, what does that even mean? And we were watching Thundercats like a couple days ago on Hulu. I think it's on now. And they were asking me all sorts of questions. Who is that? Who is this? Why are they naked? Blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, like,
why is that guy call himself Mumra? Isn't that you?
Well, I call our dog Mumra too. So I'm Kumra the ever jizzing. Kumra. Slightly different. My dog is Mumra the ever living.
Because your dog is old as hell.
Because he's old as shit.
Is he like 13 or something?
He's 15.
Bro.
That guy was born when
McCain was running for president.
McCain was running for president.
Because that's where he got his name.
His name was John McCain. So he's Mumra. And the reason why we call him Mumra is because remember Mumra would say that chant and then he'd get all buff and like all powerful, but only for a little bit.
What was his chant?
Ancient spirits of evil, transform this decayed form into Mumra, the ever living.
Right. You've watched that show too many times. Un poquito. A little too much.
A little too much. But anyway, that's the chant, right? So
you're about to hear a crisp can pop.
That's real crisp.
Yeah.
That's crisp, baby.
No. That's brisk, baby.
Yeah.
The lemon brisk commercials.
Yeah. Those commercials used to always interrupt my jacking off.
God damn it. God damn it, Comra. Comra, the average.
That was right around the time that on Comedy Central that the Girls Gone Wild infomercials would come on.
Bro, you know, for doing video recording, it's harder for me to edit out bad stuff.
I thought the video recording was just for B-roll. I can't say jacking off. It's a dad podcast. We all jack off. None of us are getting laid that often.
God damn it, I hate you. But no.
Anywho. Wait. Yeah. So we'll call him that because every once in a while he'll like resurrect and act like how he used to before he became old as shit. And that's why. So I made
and by
that
acting like he used to, you mean he just humps something?
Well, he runs around, you know, and he'll be like, oh yeah. And then like he'll go back to being like, So I made the Mumra joke enough times and they're like, what is that?
Yeah.
What is that? And sit down.
Let me show you.
Yeah. And then we do this thing where we kind of like curl up on the couch, you know.
They kind of like crawl on top of you.
Yeah. One on one arm, one on the other arm. And then the third one will usually sit like on top of me, you know. And we'll sit there and we'll watch something that really only I'm interested in. And I can't even watch because they end up asking me questions throughout the whole thing.
I hate that. That's why I hate watching stuff with people sometimes. Like, what's that? I don't know. I haven't seen it before. Oh, who's that? Just pay attention, you know.
Exactly. Are we not watching the same thing?
My wife's mom was horrible about that. She asked us to put on, apparently she liked James Bond movies. So we watched.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Well, I didn't think she did. I didn't think she knew what a movie was.
That's fucked up. Don't say that about your hot mother-in-law.
Oh my God. So we put on Quantum of Solace. I think that's the one I had downloaded or whatever. And she's sitting there like, who's that guy? I was like, I don't know. I've never seen the movie. Wait. Why are they doing that? I was like, I don't know. I'm watching it with you. Oh, what did they say? I don't know. I didn't hear them because you were talking.
Wifey does that pretty bad too when she's not thinking about it. She does it pretty bad. I know. It drives me nuts.
But no, that's cool. Like, because you're bonding with your kids that way, right? And that's kind of what I was getting at. And especially if you double dip, right? And you're watching something that has positive dads in it. Mwah, you know, chef's kiss right there, right?
Right.
Because now you're forming that bond with your kid, and you're having like this positive influence, like being reinforced on them. Unfortunately, I can't think of anything with a positive dad that I've watched with my daughter because apparently it's impossible besides Bluey to find something like that. They just don't do that kind of stuff anymore. But if you go up to my daughter's room right now, Lola has Batman all over the room.
Really?
Batman action figures sitting around her bed. She has Mr. Freeze, 2 Batmans, a little a ghost spider from Spider-Man, and a Robin sitting around her bed. Because she likes Batman. She likes watching Batman the animated series. Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah.
Batman the animated series is badass.
Oh, it's one of the best shows ever. And I watched that when I was a kid. But for some reason, she knew about Batman. I can't remember why. I think it was like one of those shows. Maybe she watched Teen Titans Go one day or something like that. She kept saying, Daddy, Batman's so cool. Batman's so cool. I was like, do you want to see Batman? The Batman Daddy watched? I want to see Batman. So I put on the show. She was like, oh, Daddy, Batman's punching people. Daddy, oh, look, Batman's doing that. And I was like, oh, yeah. She was like, who's that? I was like, that's Robin. She was like, I like Robin. I was like, okay. So now she has a Robin action figure and stuff like that. And actually on Father's Day, I took them out. We went to the mall because it was too damn hot to play outside. We ended up at like, she was like, I want to go to the superhero store. So we found a comic book store and she bought a Batman action figure.
Oh, damn.
I bought one for her on Father's Day. I got played.
Yeah, I played big time.
I got played, but it was cool because it's like I'm now sharing this part of my childhood with her, you know. My dad never really watched shows with me. He played games with me. But now I'm watching shows with my daughter, you know. Or I even showed her My Neighbor Totoro.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She liked this. She was like, oh, the big fluffy guy, Daddy. I was like, yeah, the big fluffy guy.
Yeah, the kids love that one too. Number 1 and number 2 really love that one. You know, maybe you think it has something to do with the fact that they just grew up in a different time? Like we grew up kind of in a media saturated time.
That's kind of part of what I was thinking about, right? And when I was thinking about this topic is that media nowadays provides a opportunity that wasn't available previously. Our parents kind of dipped into it because they were finally starting to get media. They grew up with MTV and stuff like that. But we grew up with all of the media available at our fingertips. So now we can show our kids what we were interested in. I think that's why you have all this Disney nostalgia and they're doing all the live actions again. Because you now have something that is constantly available and easy to digest. It's not like a book where books are hard to read. Like if I'm like my favorite book is Dune. I'm not reading Dune to a 2-year-old, right, or a 3-year-old.
And it's always really like pretentious when somebody's like, well, read this book. It's pretty awesome. It's like,
yeah,
fuck you.
Like now I'm not going to read that book. But with media like video games and movies and TV and to a lesser extent music, you now have this thing where you can be like, I used to love this. Let's see if you like it. Do you want to watch it with me? Like we're rewatching all the Disney princess movies. Yeah. She's like, Daddy, how do you know all these songs? I was like, I watched them when I was your age. You know, like I sing freaking Under the Sea to her every day.
That's a good one though. That's a banger.
I know almost every line of that song.
That's a banger. Under the Sea is great.
It is great. Yeah. The new one's garbage though, and she even knows it because she's heard the new one and the old one, And so like she'll hear the new version of Under the Sea. She's like, "No, Daddy, no, that's not the real one." And I'm like, hand to God, I didn't tell her that. She just listened to both and she was like, "I like the other one."
We haven't seen that one. I refuse to watch any of the new remakes until it's like out on streaming services.
They're all out on streaming services.
Yeah, but like it's never really a thing for us to look at those.
Yeah. No, I'm not interested in them because I think they're a cash grab. But it's kind of an example of what we were saying and how like parents now have this nostalgia bait out there because they recognize that this is the first generation that has all this media available to show to their kids.
Right.
So,
well, and you know, like I think about it with my dad's. My biological dad, I have less interaction with media and all that stuff with. But the motherfucker was a immigrante, you know, like he came from the old country.
Exactly.
He came over here when he was 14, 15 years old, you know, so he already, if there was any media that he had, anything at all, it's just completely different from the American stuff, you know.
It was some guy in a band singing Babalu.
Exactly. And, you know, my stepdad was in the deep South, deep country.
Yeah.
They didn't have much over there either.
They still don't.
They still don't have a whole lot. I mean, they do, but it's not like back then in the 70s, 80s. They didn't have a whole lot.
Yep.
And on top of that, he was raised by his biological grandparents. So you know that they barely had a TV in there.
Probably just listen to old school radio.
Probably.
Sheesh.
So when I think about media and all that stuff, it's usually like my mom.
Yeah, because your mom grew up with that, yeah.
She grew up in like New York and
had it around. My dad's similar. He both of my parents really. My mom had a little more exposure to it, but my dad grew up like one of 8 or something like that, and like lived with his aunts and uncles for a time because his mother just had too many kids.
Yeah.
So he really didn't have any of that. I think that's why he was trying to connect to me now that he's like, I have money. I'm going to buy my kid a game, you know, because I never got an Atari, so I'll buy my kid a PlayStation kind of deal.
Cool, though.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of where I'm at now, where I'm like, if Lola wants a book, I'll buy her a book. If Lola wants, you know, to watch a show and she's not over her screen limit time, I'll let her watch that show, you know, because we have that tool available now. Why not? You know, why not let them experience that? Because it forms memories and it gives you something to connect about.
To bond over.
Yeah. Like the first R-rated movie I ever watched, my dad took me to 2 R-rated movies when I was a kid. Species. I don't know if you remember that movie.
No.
Alien hottie who like she turned into a human woman and was like naked and seduced guys to kill them and like take their genetics or something like that.
Ooh, damn, sign me up.
So I'm like, this is like horror science fiction sex movie. I don't know if he should have taken me this. And then the next movie was Starship Troopers.
Oh, that's a good one though.
I mean, violence, propaganda, and redheaded titties.
Yeah. Yeah.
It had
Why
everything.
Not? Yeah, Starship Troopers is great.
And now I love sci-fi. Who would have thunk?
But you know, he probably knew that you like sci-fi.
Back then, I didn't have anything, but now I think that's what caused it. I was like, yo, does space always involve redheaded titties? Redhead titties? But I don't know. I just think it's cool. Like, on the flip side, with my stepdad was more similar to your dad in that I didn't really have a lot of media connection with my stepdad. The most connection I had with him through media was watching BET together, 106 in Park. After he'd come home from work and he'd be watching 106 in Park. And
really
like,
taking it back. You know, like I guess I could see him being a 106 in Park guy.
Yeah,
I could see that.
With what was it, Free and
damn it, wifey's right there. She would know too because she used to eat up 106 in Park.
Well, that's because Bow Wow always won number 1. And at number 1 this week is Lil Bow Wow. It was there either him, Usher, or oh my god, what was the band with like J Bug and Omarion and all of them.
Was it B2K?
Yeah, B2K. I could not for the life of me tell you a single B2K song now, but back in the day, every weekday on 106 in Park. Like that was the only like cultural touchstone I had.
They were
with
hot
them.
shit. Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't even listen to half this music, but that was just like his thing, you know? I don't know why, but that was his thing. I was like, you don't like Bow Wow and B2K, or what were the ones that were like, grind on me?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Oh, no. Grind on Me, I think, was Pretty Ricky.
Yeah, Pretty Ricky. Yeah.
But I think that's after the BET.
No,
dude.
that was 106 in Park time, bro.
No.
Yeah, because they had Grind on Me and On the Hotline. I'm going to call you on the hotline.
No.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
Has it really been that long?
Bruh.
Damn.
Bro.
Damn.
I remember too, vividly, because when they would do Freestyle Fridays, we would sit there and watch Freestyle Fridays, and I remember when Jin was winning, because he won like eight weeks in a row, and then he put out one album and flopped. But I remember being like, all right, this is us. This is how we bond, watching Freestyle Fridays with Jin whooping everybody's ass. That.
You know, I guess at the end of the day, it's a net positive, right? To at least create the memories and for them to remember, oh, I used to do this with my dad. Like, I know even today, number 2 was like, hey, come watch the show with me and cuddle with me on the couch, please.
See?
And she was asking me to do that. Unfortunately, I was in the middle of working.
Oh, yeah.
I know. And I was like, yo, I got a meeting in 10 minutes. I'm sorry. But
it's like, I'll come and pat you on the head and then go to my meeting.
But it was her show. It's her show that she likes.
What show is it?
Bake Squad on Netflix.
Fuck if I know.
Yeah, no, number 2 is real into like cooking shows.
She's like her mom.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. And they're like cooking competition shows. So
good on her.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, fine. You know, if that's the memory you want to make, she'll sit there and be like, look what they're making. Look what they're making. That's awesome. And I'm just like, sure. Great.
Daddy, look, they're cooking ladyfingers. Okay.
Yeah, cool. But like,
do you?
But then they'll sit there and I'll be like, hey, sit down with me. I'm playing Legend of Dragoon. Come sit with me.
One of the best games ever.
Yeah, seriously, one of the best games ever. Although I have gone pretty far, and I think I'm going to stop playing it.
Why?
Because I always used to do that.
Actually, yeah. I think I only beat the game once. I played it a million times. You know, I've never beat Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah?
Never. Always get to the North Crater and
then
stop.
You finish. So I used to do that a lot, and I know the reason why I used to do it a lot.
Why? Drink your drink.
It came to me. The reasoning why. Because once you beat the game, you lose interest in it.
Yep.
It's easier to get back into it after letting it go for a little bit of time and then being like, oh, I never beat this game.
This has nothing to do with what we were saying, but I read an article a while back, or maybe it was a YouTube video, I can't remember, where they were talking about that. And what it is we have problems as a species with finality.
Yeah.
So once the game is done, it's done. It's gone.
Done.
You know, put it away. So people will play games and stop and be like, I'll return to it. Or they'll buy the games and be like, I'll eventually open it. But when you die, if you didn't finish it, you didn't finish it. You missed out on that story or whatever. It's like,
right.
There's no coming back to be like, oh, let me restart that save after I died, you know? So actually, you know what? I can tie this back.
I'm real curious to see how you do that.
Because there's no going back and reforming those memories with your kids afterwards. So now that we have this tool, this media that we can share with our kids, why not take the time to create that memory? Because you're not going to have this time forever. They're going to have their own media that they want to watch, their own things they want to do, their own sports they want to play. They're not going to care what you liked, right?
Right.
So if you can't form those memories with them now, you're never going to get a chance to. So why put it off?
So I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. Though, let me be the contrarian.
Hey, yo, fuck you, bro. Fuck you, bro. Hey, bro, fuck you.
I want you to know that I 100% agree with what you're saying. And I actually really do jive with it. I really do.
Jive with that, cool cat.
But it's really hard. It is really hard to keep it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I was actually on the drive over here talking to wifey, and I'm legitimately concerned because our kids will not leave us alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so difficult because you're right. They're never going to be this age again. You know, they grow up, they stop, they lose interest in you. Eventually, they do their own thing. They start making their own memories. They have their own shit that's going on. And you do got to recognize that they're going to grow up.
Yeah.
No matter what.
You can't stop it.
You cannot stop it. There's going to be a point where they want nothing to do with you. And it's going to hurt when it comes. But really being in it and dealing with them all the time is exhausting.
Oh, 100%.
It is so tiring.
One of the most exhausting things in the world, but no, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'll give you an example. Number one is building his own world, his own D&D world. He has a gigantic map. He has countries. He has political intrigue. He has everything set up. He built a character, and he's asking me all these D&D related questions. And it's awesome because D&D is my thing. I play D&D all
You're
the time.
welcome.
But because he's doing it, number two is kind of interested, so she's building a character, right?
That's awesome.
That is awesome. They know how to play. Number two has DM'd the game for us.
Really?
Yeah, it was really cute.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cute. But anyway, and I'm like, yes, my kids are relating to me. They're doing my hobby. They're showing an interest, and this cute phase isn't gonna last. I need to soak it all in. But then they're running into my room every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Asking about something. Hey, what do you think about this? I think that's great. Gone. Next one comes in. Hey, I was thinking about blah, 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 blah. That's awesome. Hey, do you think a 16 on my strength is good if I'm trying to be a barbarian?
Decent.
Yeah, that's okay. Another one comes in. What does dex mean, Dad? And it's just constant. And you know, at the end of the day, I feel like tired.
I get you, bro. I do. Because I 100% I feel the same way. Like I will sit there and be like, yes, Lola, what do you need? Okay, Chi-Chi, what do you need? But this goes back to something I said while we were talking during episode 8.
Mm.
If you're 90 years old and let's say you got Alzheimer's or something like that, and there's only one memory you can hold on to, and that memory is that memory of you being annoyed because they're bothering you or being exhausted because they just won't leave you alone, would you treasure that memory? And if so, then is it really that bad at that point? I know it's hard to think like that.
It really is.
But when I stop, I have to stop and remind myself and be like, they're not going to be this old. So like, if this is the last time I see them, like something happens tomorrow, like I'm going to treasure that moment, even if it annoyed me. So I tell myself that to try to just kind of decompress from that annoyance.
Right. But that's the right thing to do. What's the practical thing to do? Because
Get
there's
the fuck out of my
there has to be a barrier at some point.
Yeah.
You know? Like there really does have to be something there. I mean, honestly, it gets to the point where there are days where I'm just tired from them and their questions, and it's all just stuff that they're doing just to relate to me. And it's great that I have the ability to be there and them be having those conversations with me.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I get where I 100% get what you're saying, because I experience that on a daily basis. But I still think that you got to try to just appreciate it. And the reason I threw is because there's something I feel guilty about to this day. Years ago, when I was a kid, I remember my mother coming in and saying, Nickelodeon was on, or Nick at Night had come on, and like Lassie was on, or no, maybe Flipper, one of those. I hated that show, couldn't stand it.
Shows are trash.
And she was like, "Oh, I used to love this when I was a kid. Let's watch it together." But I was already at an age where I'm like, "No, Mom, get out of my room. I want to play Sega." You know, I didn't say it like that. I said it in just however I would have said it. That would have been polite at the time. And I remember being like, "Oh, okay, all right. Well, have a good night," or I love you, and leaving. And that always stuck in my head. As a kid, I didn't understand why it felt weird for me. But now, as an adult, I still remember that memory, and I'm like, she was trying to connect with me, be like, this is something I liked when I was a kid. And I just shut her down, completely blew her up on it, and was just like, I don't give a shit, And now that hits me, and it goes back to what I was saying, like, you don't have that time forever. Right. So if they're interested in what you're interested in now, savor it, because one day they're going to shut you down the way I shut my mom down. And maybe they'll feel bad about it in the future. Maybe they won't, but I know I feel bad about it now, and it hurts me as an adult.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Because I as an adult now, I remember her face. She kind of was just like, okay, and like left.
Ooh. Oh.
And now I recognize what she was trying to do, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. If I could go back, I would have been like, why do you like Flipper? Why do you like? Tell me. Let's talk about it. But
hindsight's 2020 though.
Yeah, I shut her down, and she probably doesn't even remember this, because like there's a million things our kids do that annoy us that we just get over, but it stuck with me that like my mother was trying to connect with me, and I shut her down because at that point I didn't give it. I had my own interests. I was like, I don't care about your stupid old show.
What bothers me is that there comes a point where I kind of brush them off, and they're gonna, if they don't know now, they're gonna know that I'm kind of half-assing it, even when it's something that I'm interested in, because they're bothering me at the wrong time, or they're bothering me too frequently, that it's going to come off that they're going to catch that I'm annoyed.
So maybe try what I'm saying, bro. Maybe just take that pause and like tell yourself, all right, be like, give me a second, and try to get in that mindset. Because like how you're saying how you can imagine a scenario for somebody else to make you not upset with them, but you can't do it with your kids. Maybe try to imagine a scenario where you're like, well, you know what? This is the last time I'm going to be able to share Bloody Roar with my kids. This is the last time I'm going to be able to talk about Lion-O with my kids, because they're not going to care about the show again after this.
But then it's not feasible, right?
Yeah.
Because then I spend all day fielding their questions and talking to them, and I miss out on doing work, getting things done, and doing what I need to do. So
it's hard. It's a hard tightrope to walk. And going back to how we started it, I think that's why sometimes maybe if they have a media that they can watch where they see a good depiction of a dad, it can help us, because they can see that we're trying. They see this good dad in TV and see that we're trying to be that way. Yeah, maybe we're not perfect, but they can at least be like, okay, well, he's like that. He's a good dad. I have a great dad, And it's not like doofus dad that they're like, oh yeah, my dad's an idiot like that guy on TV.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's like Master Splinter. He's trying to prepare me. He's just not always able to, kind of deal,
Yeah. Though I would appreciate more good Band-Aid healer dads. There's got to be more of them out there.
It's rough, bro. And, I think it's because right now dads are not popular. And I know that sounds funny to say, but like, it's not a male-focused media environment at the moment. It actually kind of bothered me the other day, because I went to the store and there was so many books for little girls, so many princess books, so many things. I was like, perfect. I got little girls, but I was like, if I have a little boy, what's there out there for them? There's no positive like books for boys. Like 90% of it was books for little girls, which is awesome. But little boys need something too,
Yeah.
There needs to be positive stuff for males, both fathers and sons and all that.
And it's difficult too, because you do see them, right? There's a lot of stuff that leans into, it's okay to be different. It's okay to be you. It's okay to be yourself. But I will also say that there's a lot of boys that lean into kind of the traditional sense of being a boy, that enjoy it. I'll tell you, number one is kind of like that as well.
Oh yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, and there's some difficulty there, with the media that's out there, that he's confused and he's got some aggravation with it.
Because it's not, I don't want to say it's all feminized, but there's a distinct
softening.
Yes, there's a distinct attempt to try to round out the corners of masculinity. And we kind of touched on that previously, which that's not a bad thing, but you also need to celebrate some of the positives of masculinity, right? I always think it's weird that one of the most positive male depictions in a Disney movie was from one of its most female empowerment movies. Mulan had one of the best male depictions of, positive depictions of male. They even had a whole song, one of the best songs from the movie, Be a Man.
Yeah, that song slaps. It definitely slaps. Yeah. I know that song by heart.
Lola loves that song.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, she loves music. She was dancing.
You saw her dancing earlier. Yeah. But, and it's crazy that, one of the most female positive movies out there had the best male empowerment song, because it showed that, being a man is being strong, being tough, but it also is, there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've lost that in society.
Mysterious.
We're now giving women, we're now giving women the whole full treatment that they deserve, where women and girls are now seeing this whole, there's more to being a woman than being a mom. There's more to being a girl than, Barbies. Actually, the Barbie movie was a perfect example of that. But, there's, you need that for men too.
Well, there's an overcorrection, right? We had the 80s with the hyper masculine. I mean, those are my favorite movies.
Oops. I disconnected my headset.
Disconnected your headset.
Technical difficulties of doing a live podcast. Where's the hole? I can't find the hole.
That's what she said.
Wah, 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 wah.
It's okay. I have difficulties finding the hole.
Continue telling your story, though.
Oh, okay. You good?
Yeah, I mean, we're on camera. Yeah, we're good.
No.
I'm in. I'm in.
How much are we really changing positions while on camera anyway?
Yes.
So anyway, there's like an overcorrection, right?
Yeah.
Like the 80s movies, 90s movies, the hyper masculine action hero movies with the Arnold Schwarzeneggers and Sylvester Stallone.
You mean some of the best movies ever?
I love those movies. I love them. The Die Hard movies are on Hulu now. God. I love them to death. I always watch them. Those movies
hold up so well.
Yeah, they really do. I love, Predator. All those.
One of the best movies.
All of those super hyper masculine action movies. I love them to death. Number one loves them too. He'll sit there and watch some of it with me, but then he's like, yo, this is too violent for me. I'm gonna have nightmares. I'm going to bed. See you later. But, we went from that to, trying to fix things, trying to round things out. And it works. It does help. And there's going to be changes that need to be made. But there is that aspect of masculinity in media that is good for kids that identify with the masculinity. Yeah. I have a buddy of mine. He's a little older than us, but he's got kids around number one's age. And his sons are having an issue too nowadays, dealing with how media is affecting the kids around him, around them. What's the right thing to do? How to treat people as like a masculine type kid,
Yeah.
And
because you can't help it if you feel masculine, right? Like you have to accept who you are. And if you're a masculine individual, if you feel like you're a man's man and you don't have positive
input,
guidance, not guidance, but role models, I guess, depictions on television or in media in general, like it's hard to kind of pick a path, especially if, like we were saying, the dads might be busy. We're busy. We're really busy individuals now, unfortunately. It's not uncommon for dads nowadays to be working 10, 11, 12 hours. So you can't always be there for your kid.
Right.
But go ahead with the story about.
No. That was pretty much it. That they're having issues, especially with all the the gender normalization stuff that's going on. And
Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with all that, but
there isn't. But it is confusing for kids in like the 10 age group.
I can see that. Yeah.
And a lot of it is spilling into media. Especially when you look at some of the remakes and stuff. I know number one has gone into the aspect of asking, what about gay people? What about this? What about that? And it's like, you do your best to
explain it,
but they're not really developed yet. They don't get it.
It's hard to explain that stuff. And I think every parent needs to have a conversation with their children about sexuality and all that stuff at certain times. But it kind of goes back again to what we were saying. Like, if you're not giving positive depictions of fathers and positive depictions of fathers being masculine,
right?
Then for those individuals that do identify with the more masculine side of things, they don't have anything to follow. As much as we crap on it, the dad from Seventh Heaven was at least a masculine-ish depiction, like a more of a religious side, but he was like that old school religious masculine, right?
Yeah.
But you don't really get a lot of anything like that anymore. Bluey's dad, Bandit Healer, is the closest thing, but even then, it's like, I joked about it earlier, does that man even have a job?
Yeah. He's masculine in the sense that he's referred to as being like big, hairy, stinky, like he'll throw like nasty farts and stuff.
But that almost goes back to the doofus thing. Like they're painting the dad as disgusting. Like I've seen that. They're like, oh, daddy, his breath is killing us, when they were like climbing the mountain and like he was like, oh, the mountain cave, and it's like, oh, the mountain cave is stinky because it was his mouth. It was like,
well,
moms can have stinky breath.
Yeah.
Dads could brush their teeth. Who knows? Like,
like I know when me and my kids will watch something, we'll be joking around, and if we see something about like a character that's really buff or huge or whatever, I'll joke and I'll point at the TV and be like, "Yo, that's me. Check me out." And they're like, "Look at those muscles. Look at my muscles right there." And they're just, they laugh.
They laugh because they're like, they know that's not you, but they get it. Yeah.
They get it. They get the joke. And every once in a while, they'll be watching something else. They'll see somebody being really buff, and they'll be like, "Look, Dad, you're on the TV." And I'm like, "Oh shit."
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Right.
Well, back to what I was saying, dads and sharing media, right? Because there's not a lot of depictions now of positive fathers or positive examples like that, it's a good thing for you to be able to bond with your children over older media that you're like, hey, look, I like this movie. It shows a good dad, or I like this, that. Like, I know there's a whole other aspect of this that can be argued endlessly, but regardless of anything outside of the show, The Cosby Show was a great depiction of a dad. And if it was still on TV, if my girls are old enough, I'd be like, hey, look at how he's telling them about, this problem they're solving or something like that, And you're sharing older media that you grew up with that shows those depictions that are maybe lacking nowadays.
Yeah.
Even if it's in video games, movies, music, TV, whatever it is, if you can share something that you think gives a positive depiction, that's not only a bonding moment, but a way for you to give them those depictions that might be lacking nowadays.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's really hard to find them.
Yeah.
It's real hard to find them. It always feels like you gotta dig in deep and you gotta find out, this is an allegory for
just gotta look back for older stuff. Like we were saying, I never realized that the first Ninja Turtles movie was an excellent allegory for fatherhood.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk it?
I mean, there were a couple of cartoon iterations of the Ninja Turtles, the more recent ones, where he like outright says, "You are my sons. I want you to be, safe. I want you to learn this stuff."
I never really watched any of them past the original cartoon.
A lot of them are pretty bad.
Yeah.
A lot of them are really
I want to
bad.
say I remember hearing that one of them was really comic book accurate and was pretty good, and I want to say like mid-2000s or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember people talking about that one, and we're like, it was Ultron, Shredder, and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing it and being like, oh shit, wow.
One of our children is crying out there.
That's mine. That's number 3. I hear it. I know her. She's. I don't know what time it is, but
It doesn't matter. We got recording to do. No.
Yeah.
Actually, to kind of tie this all back, and then maybe we'll close out this episode, because I think we talked about a lot of good things. But I was kind of talking to my wife the other day, and I was like, you know what? Even if nobody listens to this podcast, I want to continue doing it for one reason and one reason only. I'm not going to be here forever. I will pass one day, but the internet's forever. And as long as there's servers up and these giant multinational companies are keeping their servers up, this data is going to be out there forever. My kids can be in their 50s and be like, you know what? I want to hear Dad's voice. And they can turn on a podcast and hear me talking about raising them and how it was with my parents and how that affected how I raised them. And maybe even their kids, my grandkids, can eventually hear it one day, you know? As long as the internet's up and Google or whoever is hosting us currently keeps their servers up, we'll be out there forever, being I hope, positive depiction of a father for them to go back and listen to.
That's some heavy shit.
Right?
Yeah. Hopefully positive. Mainly you. You got the one guy talking about jacking off and camaraderie ever jizzing and shit. I mean, I make those jokes in front of my kids all the time.
I was gonna say, it's not like you don't act like that in front of them.
I know, it's so bad. It's so bad. You know, I got caught by a D's nuts joke from number 1.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
I was talking about eating more protein and stuff, and I was like, maybe I should go to the store and pick up some nuts or, you know, something. And I hear him from his room. Don't you mean these nuts?
Damn. And that's when you don't realize you done fucked up.
But you're right. You're right.
Like, even if in the future there's no positive depictions, at least this will be here where our kids can go back and hear us.
Yeah. That's not bad. They could be ancient. They could be old. They could be showing their own
They could be
kids.
like, oh my God, why do we have to listen to a great granddad on like old school cell phones, and why is he not on the brain net?
On punk records.
Yeah. I feel like you're referencing something there.
My kids will know it because they get the reference.
Womp womp, because you shared that media with them. But yeah, I mean, and it's funny because literally Ninja Turtles got me thinking about this, right? And that's something that rings true to me when I was younger, because my dad bought me Ninja Turtle stuff because he knew I liked them. But for that to remind me and to show me that that was a good depiction of fatherhood and a depiction of negative versus positive fatherhood, and to make me think about all this, and to be in a position where I can now show my children that, I think that's interesting. I can share that interest while also showing them a positive depiction of fatherhood and just kind of bond with them.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, the thing is we can't push it too much.
Push it to the limit.
The limit. We can't be like, this is a great depiction of a father.
No, yeah. I mean,
and then look at them.
Because I've sat there and be like, Lola, I love this song. This is my favorite song from the movie. She's like, I don't like it. I'm like, oh.
I know. And in that situation, you're in the same position as your mom.
Yeah.
You get smacked down.
But I'm like, you know what? At least I'm sharing with her and she's at least responding. But
She gave you the skibbity pads, bro.
Actually,
put the skibbity pads on your feelings.
So Lola loves old school electronica. Loves it.
Yeah.
She loves oh my God, what's the name of that band? They wear the helmets.
Is it and Whip It?
No,
Whip
not them.
Good.
No, like
Daft Punk?
Daft Punk.
Okay.
Loves them.
I was thinking way old school. Sorry.
She loves that. One more time.
Yeah.
So she has me playing that stuff all the time on YouTube. And she was listening to that. I was like, oh, let me show you a song Daddy likes. That's a similar kind of song. And I put on the The Sanctuary from Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, that's a good song.
Or was that Kingdom Hearts 1? No, Kingdom Hearts 1 was the other one. They were both bangers.
Sanctuary.
Yeah, Sanctuary was Kingdom Hearts 2, I think, right?
Or are you thinking about the when you walk away?
Yeah, that was Kingdom Hearts 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I played both of them. She liked that one, the first one, because there was like Mickey Mouse and stuff in the music video. Sanctuary, she wasn't feeling. She was like, I know Daddy, change it. I was like,
Damn.
these are my PS2 memories.
Damn. I feel you. I mean, you know, my kids are pretty receptive to everything I throw out there. It's kind of weird. I haven't gotten that like, Dad, this
got that
sucks.
smackdown.
Yeah, like, Dad, your taste is trash. I haven't gotten that yet.
Oh, you want to know the most brutal smackdown she gave me? She loves the Peaches song. Peaches, peaches, peaches,
Yeah.
peaches, peaches.
Another
And
banger.
she knows that Jack Black sings it because she watched the video where they do the Jack Black version of the video and then the Bowser version.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you like Jack Black? She's like, I like Jack Black. He sings good song. And I was like, let me show you a song Daddy loved. So I put on Tribute.
You put that song on?
I love that song.
You put that song on?
You know what song I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, this is not the greatest song in the world. Yeah.
I put that on. She's like, Daddy, this is not good song. Put back on Peaches. I was like, oh. I feel like that dad that's like, listen, Stairway to Heaven is awesome. It was like, can we listen to Limp Bizkit instead?
Wait, I know you said you didn't watch a whole lot of South Park, but there's an episode where they're playing Guitar Hero, and
Oh, I've seen that episode.
yeah, and they're playing a "Carry On My Wayward Son" on Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
And so Randy's like, "Oh snap! All right, same thing." He busts out his old guitar, and he's like, "Hey kids,
Remember
check
this?
this out! Yeah, bang 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 bang." And they're like, "Dad, what are you doing? This is lame."
Like, it's not Guitar Hero.
It's the song though. You were just. It's the same song.
They're like, no, we're playing Guitar
We're
Hero.
playing Guitar Hero, Dad. That's lame. Get the shit out of here.
Oh, poor Randy Marsh.
That
Oh my
exact
God.
moment.
Are we Randy Marsh?
No, you're Randy Marsh. I haven't gotten there yet.
Bro, you are Randy Marsh.
How?
Think of all the corny jokes Randy Marsh does and like how Randy Marsh is just weird as hell and how the kids just look at him like, what? You're Randy Marsh too. We're all Randy Marsh.
In some aspect, he's so weird. Like
Cream fresh. He was
Yeah.
cream fresh.
Cream fresh. Shannon, get the cream fresh.
We're all Randy
No more
Marsh.
cooking shows, Randy.
Oh my God. That's not a positive depiction of a father.
Hey, maybe you throw him out there, show your kids like, hey, look, it could be worse.
I could be him.
I could be Randy Marsh. Could be 100% Randy Marsh instead of just some of the times.
You know the best Randy Marsh depiction? Then we should probably start wrapping up.
Yeah.
When the boys had they were winning the Little League.
Oh my God, yes.
And
Yeah,
he's
and he
just
kept
fighting the
fighting.
shit out of
Yeah.
every dad. I thought this was America. How can I not fight?
And he had to fight Bat Dad at the end.
While the boys are going through like the tournament, he's going through like the tournament of dads to fight. At least we're not Randy Marsh. You know what? I'll stand by Al Bundy. He ain't a bad dad. At least we're not Randy Marsh because that's a bad dad. Okay, that's a bad dad. Shit, you don't understand.
Stan.
When they lost the internets.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what I was
It was a
thinking.
ghost. He has like jizz all over him.
Yeah.
God, that's a horrible
It's
show.
Ectoplasm.
But yes, so to go back, positive dad depictions and sharing stuff. That will not be a media memory I share with my daughters. I will not be watching South Park with my daughters. This is the episode where Randy Marsh jizzes all over himself. Don't you like this? No, I will not be sharing that. I'd rather share a Seventh Heaven episode before I share that.
Maybe I won't watch that with my daughters, but number one might get a kick out of it.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of just what I wanted to touch on, right? That like we ragged on media hard. We ragged on medias and dads hard, and we really didn't give them a chance. And looking back at it, there actually is a lot more positive influence out there. But not only that, media itself is a great way to interact. Like, you know, I have memories with my stepdad. I have memories with my dad. And I'm forming memories with my daughter now. Like, she loved that first episode of Batman, the animated series we watched together, right? And I can't wait to start watching anime with her. I'll be like, look, let me show you some good stuff. We'll start with the soft stuff, and then we're going to go to Dragon Ball, you know? Like,
yeah, using it as a tool to have something else that you could bond with your kids with. Yeah. Definitely a great thing.
Yeah. And, you know, this may not be the most serious conversation we have, but I think every 5 episodes we're allowed to have a break and talk about what we know best, which is media, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So for all the guys out there, you can be Bluey, Bandit Healer. You can be the dad from Seventh Heaven. You can even be Al Bundy.
Or Randy Marsh.
Just don't be Randy Marsh.
You could be Randy Marsh.
Don't be Randy Marsh.
Don't worry about it. We're
Fuck
still
Frankie
here
the
for
Tanky.
you.
Don't be Randy Marsh. But yeah, I enjoyed this one, Frankie the Tanky. I think that's all I got to say. You got anything?
No, just really, you know, what I want to say is lean into it, right?
Lean back.
You got to remember, these kids are going to be wanting to watch stuff. They're going to be wanting to soak up as much screen time as possible.
Yeah.
That's just how things are, right? You can lean into it. We can all lean into it. We can be part of that experience instead of just leaving them in a corner, getting them out of our faces, letting them watch whatever stupid shit they want to watch. We can be a part of that. We could be a memory, even if we're just sitting there with them.
And on the flip side, it doesn't have to be our media. We can watch their media.
We can watch their media.
I watch Don Quixote with Lola. And it's a yellow donkey and her friend Purple Panda from the Purple Planet.
I mean,
weird show, but I'll watch it with her. And I'm like, you remember that episode where they were the royal castle builders? Yeah, that was fun, right?
Yeah.
You know, it still forms a memory.
Yeah, you got a point. I can't tell you how many A for Adley, AFMAL videos I've seen on YouTube. I've also seen a lot of just random number one loves different factoids about different countries and like just all those random videos that they like to watch. The Big Squad. I've watched Captain Underpants 1,000,001 times.
You probably watched Roblox videos with number one.
I play Roblox. I have my own Roblox account.
Lame.
But I play with number one and number two.
But yeah, there we go. Media sharing, you know? So
we'll all play the same game.
It could be your media. It could be their media, as long as you're sharing it with them. And then maybe as a bonus, you get some positive dad depictions. You know?
Yeah. Lean into it. Just, you know, it really is hard to thread that needle. Find that time, you know, and as
cherish what you get.
Yeah, as Mr. Two Banana said, cherish it. Try not to think of it as a chore. Try not to think of it as a pain in the ass, because there's going to be that point where they grow up and they say, I don't want you involved. And we have to be all right with giving them that space.
You have to realize at that point that it's like, well, that's it.
That's it.
They're beyond me, you know?
Yeah, they have their friends. They have their stuff. They're going to be forming their own stuff.
They're going to be forming their own podcast, bitching about us.
That's all right.
So, yeah, you know, cherish it now and share what you can and be open to have them share what they want to share with you.
Definitely.
You know? So I'm going to say, you know, I think we hit the spot there. And, you know, thank you all for listening. Still enjoy doing all this. You know, follow us on wherever you listen to your podcast. Hi Podcast, I'm Dad. You know, check us out on our YouTube channel. We're uploading more and more stuff. This is probably going to be the first live video, or not live, but first video of us. You can see our beautiful visages. Visages. You know, you can see our faces.
Let me know, should I shave the beard?
Yeah, it looks like pubes.
A little bit.
Nah, I'm messing with you, bro. It looks all right. Yeah, follow us there. Follow us on our Instagrams. Actually, you know what? Don't follow us on our Instagrams till we figure it out.
No, follow us on Instagram anyway.
But, we appreciate you listening, and we'll catch you next time. Once again, this has been Hi Podcast. I'm Dad.